My name is Claire. I'm 29. My sister skipped my wedding for a work emergency. 6 months later, she asked me to fund hers dollar for dollar without a hint of irony in her voice. I said yes, I didn't argue. I just started paying attention. Real quick, before this gets good, new here? Subscribe, this channel posts a story every day. Also tell me, what's the time where you're watching from? I'll be checking the comments. All right, back to it. My sister Vanessa is 2 years younger. Growing up, she got the benefit of the doubt. I got the responsibility. That was just how it worked in our house. I was the mature one. She was still figuring things out, even at 25. Nobody ever asked when that would stop. I used to resent that label on her behalf before all this happened. Vanessa spent her whole childhood treated like she was fragile, our parents' response to a rough diagnosis at 7, one she fully recovered from, but that calcified into a permanent excuse. Nobody expected follow-through from Vanessa, so she never learned what it cost other people when she didn't deliver. She didn't set out to be unreliable. Nobody ever taught her the bill comes due. When I got engaged, Vanessa cried happy tears, said she couldn't wait to be my maid of honor. 6 months later, 4 days before my wedding, she called, sobbing, apologizing, saying a massive work crisis meant she couldn't fly in. Client emergency. Couldn't be helped, she said, voice breaking on every other word. I believed her completely. I stood at the altar without my only sister there. My mother cried more than I did, dabbing her eyes through the ceremony. I told myself it happened. Work happens. 2 months later, scrolling half asleep, I saw a photo. Vanessa, at a beach resort, dated the exact weekend of my wedding. Caption, needed this trip more than I can say. I read it 3 times, said nothing, filed it away and kept going. Vanessa got engaged 4 months later. His family had real money, the kind that shows up in casual mentions of the summer house. The budget ballooned fast. She called, casual, would you and Mark help with the florist? Just this one thing. I said yes. Then the next thing, and the next. Over 3 months, just this one thing became almost $11,000. Florist, half the bar, dress alterations, welcome bags. Every time a reason. Every time I paid without asking too many questions. My first instinct wasn't to keep paying quietly. Around request 4, I almost asked directly why the sister who missed my wedding for a beach trip was funding half of hers off me. I didn't. I told myself I was being petty. I paid anyway. I wasn't being petty, I was collecting. Every receipt, every Venmo confirmation, every text where she asked for just one more thing. I built a folder on my laptop, dated everything, and didn't fully understand why until the week of her rehearsal dinner, when I found myself, almost without deciding to, printing 2 copies of the total instead of 1. The rehearsal dinner had 80 guests. String lights his mother insisted on. Vanessa stood with a glass of champagne, tapped it, and thanked everyone who'd made this dream possible, his parents, her fiancé, the wedding planner, even the venue coordinator by name. She didn't mention me, not once. $11,000 and not one word while I sat there smiling because that's what you do. Something in me stopped being quiet. I stood up, glass in hand. My pulse loud enough in my own ears that I almost couldn't hear myself start talking. 80 people turned toward me, expecting, I think, a sweet sisterly toast. I just want to add something, I said, my voice steadier than I expected it to be. Since Vanessa's thanking everyone who made this possible, I paid for the florist, half the bar, and her dress alterations. About $11,000 total over the last 3 months. The room went dead silent. A fork clinked against a plate somewhere near the back, sharp enough that 3 heads turned toward the sound instead of me. I don't need thanks, I said, but I do think everyone toasting, family, tonight should know what family actually paid for this wedding. The same sister, by the way, who missed mine for a beach vacation she told me was a work emergency. Vanessa's champagne glass shook hard enough that a little sloshed over the rim onto her fingers. His mother's glass stopped halfway to her mouth, frozen there. Her fiancé looked at Vanessa first, not me, a long, searching look, like he was doing quiet math of his own for the first time. Claire, Vanessa said, voice shaking, that's not you're doing this now. I'm doing this now, I said, because apparently there was never going to be a better time. I sat back down, nobody clapped. Nobody needed to. The silence said everything it needed to, and somewhere near the head table, I watched her fiancé quietly set his own glass down without drinking from it. The wedding still happened the next day. I went. I sat in the back, 3 rows further than family usually sits, and nobody moved me forward. Vanessa and I haven't really talked since, not properly, a few clipped texts, nothing real. My mother thinks I should have waited, said it privately. Maybe she's right. I don't fully know anymore. My father, for what it's worth, said only one thing about it afterward, that he wished she'd told him herself before he found out standing in a room full of strangers. What I do know, I spent a year funding a sister who couldn't show up for me once. Silence didn't buy her honesty. It bought her more time to keep taking. Was standing up at her rehearsal dinner the right call, or did I just trade my dignity for hers? I go back and forth. What I don't go back and forth on, some debts get paid in silence, and some debts only get paid when the whole room is watching. Tell me what you think. If this story hit home, subscribe, I post a new one every day.